up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours. We do have some huge topics to discuss. Firstly, Barcelona have identified their main target for the left wing position, and that is Nico Williams. However, Dani Olmo is a very close second, and these are two players that both Xavi and Deco are huge fans of, and they could be looking to bring in both of them this summer. But of course, the priority is a pivot. We do have an update on the signing of Guido Rodriguez, but also after a pivot and a left wing, the club will look to sign an interior midfielder this summer. We have been linked with Garcia, Bernardo Silva, and also Xavi Simons, who was spotted in Barcelona recently. We have also an update on the future of Joao Felix, which isn't looking too good at the moment. We also have an update on the future of Roberto Lewandowski, who's going to be earning fat wages next season, and the club need to resolve his situation. Also, we have all the latest news around the situation of Vitor Roque. His agent Cury has come out speaking in the media, denying any move for a loan whatsoever this summer, and we have an update in every little details around that situation. Big contract renewal updates as well on Frankie de Jong, Roberto, and Pedri, and finally the huge historic monumental deal with Nike is very close, and it will be signed very soon. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get the 200 likes in this video. Be very much appreciated. And also, if you're new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past 24 hours. Now, we're first going to be discussing again more updates on what the current plan is for Barcelona in the upcoming summer transfer window. Now, firstly, Ferran Torres has come out saying that Xavi intends to make many changes in the team this summer that will involve the exits of a lot of players. Joan Laporta also feels the exact same way. Guille from Sport came out saying that Joan Laporta wants to shake up Barcelona this summer and create a competitive team for next season. So everyone, big at the club behind the scenes, Laporta, Deco, and Xavi, are in agreement that this squad needs revamping and needs improvement. And with Madrid looking like they're gonna at least win the double, probably a Mickey Mouse kind of trouble, and adding Mbappe on top of that, we need to improve our squad overall to compete with them next season. Now, Ferran Martinez from Mundo Deportivo is coming out saying that Barcelona would ideally like to sign around 3 to 4 players who could be starters. The priority, of course, is to sign a pivot and a left winger. The rest will depend on exits, but they want to improve the squad with a top interior and a top striker. Now, we'll talk about the striker situation later on when we talk about the future of Lewandowski and Vitor Roque. Interior, I think, should be the priority or the next objective following a left winger and a pivot. I do agree with that. So again, I have no complaints. Looks like the board have a clear plan. They know what they want to get in terms of what position to strengthen and what the priority is in terms of who to strengthen first. Again, it's going to be the pivot first, then the left wing, then interior. After that, it's going to be all bonuses whether you get a backup striker. I think for sorting out the fullback situation will be involved as well, but that'll kind of be Barcelona making movements, so to speak. I don't think really signings are needed, apart, of course, from keeping Cancelo on a permanent transfer. So again, the plan is clear. Everyone agrees with it. The Barcelona board, the coaching staff, and even the fans as well. Again, now it is time for execution. Now, in regards to the pivot position, which of course is the priority of Barcelona, it looks like the club will be signing 2 players in that position, and the first signing is almost done, and that is Guido Rodriguez. Now, Sport came out saying that Barcelona have reached an agreement to sign Guido Rodriguez on a free transfer this summer. The midfielder becomes the club's first signing for the next season. Some weeks ago, during the international break, Deco reached an agreement with Guido Rodriguez for the player to join Barcelona this summer. The signing will be made official when the season ends, and the signing of Guido Rodriguez does not stop Barcelona from trying to sign a top pivot. Guido will come in to replace the outgoing Romeo, who will most likely, of course, leave the club this summer. Again, it's an upgrade from Romeo for sure, and again, it's someone that you can maybe rely upon for squad depth, maybe some tactical adjustments. It gives the option for Xavi to go defensive in games as well when he wants to in certain moments. So I think overall, for a free transfer, I'm pretty sure his wages will probably be around 70 to 90,000 a week. I don't think he'll be making 100,000 a week over that, because he knows he's gonna be coming in a backup role. So I think overall it's a good signing. It's a free transfer, which again costs us nothing. A little bit of agent fees and a player for choosing Barcelona. It'll be a great move for him as well. I think this will be a happy deal for all parties. We're just now waiting for the final details for the deal to be agreed and of course signed. Now, staying in the midfield, of course, Barcelona are in the market and are interested in strengthening the interior position of the midfield, and a player that has been linked with Barcelona in that position for about 5 or 6 months now is Alex Garcia. Now, there have been reports coming out from Fabrizio Romano and Matteo Morito linking Alex Garcia to Bayern Leverkusen. Of course, Xabi Alonso, a little bit of a Spanish connection. Apparently, Bayern Leverkusen showing some interest in Alex Garcia. And Matteo Morito came out following this report saying that Alex Garcia is not one of the priorities for Barcelona as things currently stand. Also, reports coming in from the Girona media saying that they want to sell him for around 15 million euros, which of course is his release clause. I wouldn't be too bummed out on losing to Alex Garcia, but I think he's a great market opportunity for Barcelona, a fantastic player as well, and we can easily get him for very cheap. I don't even think we have to pay money for him. You chuck in Oyen Romeu, chuck in Eric Garcia, and I think they will happily give us Alex Garcia in return. I think it was a very, very easy operation and a great addition to the Barcelona squad as well. Good age, been very, very solid in La Liga over the past 2 seasons. Of course, there are better options out there that I think are way more difficult for Barcelona to execute. He's kind of the cheap option that's also super good as well. So if I'm Alex Garcia, I would hold out a bit, see if Barcelona come in for him, especially if they sign, a pivot and a left wing fairly early in the market. But if he gets an opportunity for Bayern Leverkusen and he goes, I don't blame him. And personally, from a Barcelona point of view, I wouldn't be too disappointed. I think I'd be more disappointed if we still have Eric Garcia and Oyen Romeu as part of our squad and he's not here. That would be the main problem for me. But keep your eyes on it. We'll wait and see how things develop with that Bayern Leverkusen interest. Now, of course, Xavi's main pick now for a while has been Bernardo Silva. Now, we have reports coming in from David Bernabeu from Sport saying that unlike last year, Bernardo Silva will not wait until the end of the transfer window for Barcelona. He'd like his future to be resolved before the Euros ends. Xavi will be open to selling Frenkie de Jong if it would mean the arrival of Bernardo Silva. While Xavi has informed about his desire to sign Bernardo Silva, there are voices within the club who disagree and feel that it's more important for the money to be invested in signing players for the attack. Now, I kind of agree with the board a little bit, saying that there are voices who disagree. I disagree a little bit more so because of the age and the price. I think, look, the time to get Bernardo Silva was 2 years ago, and this is the same story from before. He's not good away. We need to sell Frenkie de Jong. It's the exact same thing on repeat. To be frank, I've had enough of it. Bernardo Silva is a world-class player, absolutely fantastic. I would take him at Barcelona in a heartbeat. He's definitely Barcelona level, but I think right now the stars are not aligning in my opinion. Dare I say it, I'd rather keep Frenkie de Jong and add Alex Garcia than sell Frenkie de Jong to bring in Bernardo Silva. Now, Xavi being open to selling Frenkie de Jong for me doesn't really indicate too much. Of course, Frenkie de Jong is still in deciding whether his future, he has to renew his contract or not. We'll have an update on Frenkie de Jong later on. But, you're telling Xavi, hey, Xavi, we'll sell Frenkie de Jong and you bring in Bernardo Silva. What are your thoughts? He'd probably be like, it's something I would approve of for sure. So it doesn't really faze me too much. I think, again, with Frenkie de Jong, his future is very clear. And again, we will talk about that later on. But this Bernardo Silva stuff for me is really, really getting old, in my opinion. He's 60 million euros for a 30-year-old who has maybe 2 or 3 years left at the very, very top level. It's a massive gamble. And again, he's a player that you bring in when your squad is fully ready to go. Kind of like what Real Madrid doing. They have a very strong squad. They're adding Mbappe to it. That's what Barcelona should be doing if we had a very strong squad and putting Bernardo Silva on top of that. I just don't think we're at that level. And again, price-age ratio does not sit well with me. But Xavi's a big fan of the players, so we'll wait and see how things do turn out. Now, there is another midfielder who has been getting a lot of momentum in the Barcelona media and around the Barcelona fan base as well, and that is Xavi Simons. Now, there are reports coming in suggesting that Xavi has tasked Deco with negotiating the return of Xavi Simons to Barcelona while considering a loan with a purchase option, but it's tough due to PSG unwillingness to sell and Barcelona's financial issues. Now, Xavi Simons was spotted in Barcelona over the past few days. Again, he's a Barcelona boy. He's from the academy. He's grown up in the city. Does not surprise me, but again, he was spotted in the city, so take that as you will. He would be a fantastic signing. I would take him over Alex Garcia. I would take him over Bernardo Silva, but he is probably the most difficult operation to execute out of the three for sure, and there's a reason behind that because PSG really, really rate the player. And of course, from his time at Barcelona, yes, he was from the academy. He asked for a lot of money. We said no. Raiola shipped him off to PSG. you know, in hindsight, you would have wanted to keep him, but again, the price he's asking for his age, he wasn't even. I don't even think he was in Juvenile A at the time, let alone Barca Athletic, and he's asking for outrageous money. Again, he was kind of, you know, hyped on Instagram. You know, has 1 million, I think he had like 2 million followers, or like a lot of followers by the time he was only 14 or 15, because his name was Xavi and he had whole lot of hair, so everyone was gassed. And of course, he was a good player as well, and everyone was gassed about him. But he's a player that I would definitely be interested in. So we'll wait and see. Again, the interior right now is not really what Barcelona are looking at. They would, of course, sort out the future of the two Joaos, look at a pivot, left wing as well, which we'll talk about in a few seconds. But again, keep your eyes on the interior market, see how things develop, as Barcelona are definitely tracking it. Now, in regards to the left wing position, there have been a lot of surprising developments over the past 24 to 48 hours, and that's mainly because Barcelona have now honed in on their main target for this position, and it is Nico Williams. Firstly, Tony Juan Martin from Sport came out saying that Barcelona would like to strengthen the left wing position if they are able to, and therefore Nico Williams over Dani Olmo for various reasons. 1. Nico's better dribbler and has more pace. 2. Nico's versatile and can play as a 9 as well. I mean, bit of a stretch there for the 9, but yeah, you can chuck him on the right for sure. 3, he's younger by almost 5 years. 4, his release clause is 10 million cheaper, and 5, his salary would also be lower than Dani Olmo. So everything points to Nico Williams. He's a better player. He fits the mold better. So it's happy days for everyone at this point. Now, David Roberto and Ferran Torres from Sport came out with a big bombshell saying that Nico Williams is Xavi's favorite choice to sign this summer as the new left winger, and Xavi likes the following 3 wingers: Nico Williams, Dani Olmo, and Kvaratskhelia. He would like to see the club try to sign 2 of them. Look. This might be a hot take, but I'm going to say it. It's my opinion. Based on this season, I would rather sign Dani Olmo ahead of Kvaratskhelia. I think Kvaratskhelia does fit the mold a bit more, but I think Dani Olmo has way more of a future. I think his versatility, especially if he can play as an interior. I think, you sign Dani Olmo as an interior, can also play on the left. You sign Nico Williams. That, for me, would be a great operation. For me, my 2 favorites for the interior would be Xavi Simons and Dani Olmo, basically mainly because of their versatility. Again, I do like Alex Garcia and Bernal Silva personally. I would stay away from. I find it quite strange that both the club and Xavi see Dani Olmo as a left winger. I definitely see him more as an interior for sure, even a 10. I see him more as a false 9 than I do a left winger, but he's on the list, and the fact that the club want to sign 2 of them, I think the roads do point to Nico Williams and Dani Olmo. But again, mainly for the left wing, Nico Williams is the priority. And Tony Juan Martin did come out saying that Nico Williams is open to joining Barcelona this summer, but he isn't desperate to leave Bilbao, and that makes perfect sense. Of course, his boyhood club taking that big step up to Barcelona, of course he'd be interested in, especially if his club gets all the money that they deserve for him, the 50 million euro release clause, of course. But he's not going to push the move. He's not going to go on strike, and that of course makes perfect sense. Now, finally, Ferran Martinez and Roberto from Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Barcelona's interest in Dani Olmo and Nico Williams is very strong. The club feels both will fit into the squad perfectly. The club's been following Nico Williams since months now, and he's really admired by the coaching staff, but Bilbao won't make it easy and will refer to making his full payment of the 50 million euro release clause. That's where the issue comes in. Not the 50 million euro release clause, but paying the entire 50 million euro release clause up front. On the flip side, Dani Olmo has many supporters like Xavi and Deco. They're really big fans of the player within the club. There's consensus regarding his signing, and his price is 60 million euros, of course, his release clause, but Barcelona may give facilities in payments because of the player's desire to come. So Dani Olmo would push the move, and RB Leipzig might be able to accept payment methods for that 60 million euro release clause. So maybe pay 15 million for a few summers till the payment is fully up, stuff like that. Listen. I will say this. You get a top pivot, let's say, hypothetically, Zubimendi or Kimmich. You get Dani Olmo. You get Nico Williams. That is a top summer. The issue is, I don't think Barcelona can afford all 3. I think Barcelona can afford 2. I think the club's budget for this summer is going to be around 110 million euros. If you count Dani Olmo, 60. Nico Williams, 50. That's 110 plus a pivot as well. Let's price a pivot at 60 million. That's 170 million already. Let's say hypothetically 20 million for Joao. You're looking at 200 million for the players that the club are planning on bringing in. And people want a goalkeeper, by the way. We ain't got money and time for a goalkeeper right now. You're looking at a sale to make this work. And would I sell Frankie de Jong for Dani Olmo? No. Would I sell Rafinha for Dani Olmo? No. Would I sell Ferran Torres for Dani Olmo? This is a discussion to be had there. I would lean towards yes. Would I sell Christensen for Dani Olmo? I think that's a very, very good question. I think it depends on what the club's plan is on the center back department, but I'd be open to that. So again, we'll wait and see. But the most important thing is that Nico Williams is the favorite, and I cannot express how satisfied I am with that target. Again, going back to the original report here from Tony Juan Marti, 5 key points on why he's better player, better suited for the position, got the pace, versatile, younger, cheaper, and salary as well will be lower. You cannot go wrong. Again, it's just now down to figuring out how Barcelona can finesse that 50 million euro release clause and try to get an agreement with Athletic Bilbao. So wait and see how things turn out. But again, I think the club really want to focus on the pivot first and then go for left wing, with currently Nico Williams and Dani Olmo being the favorites. Now, I did hint there about the future of Joao Cancelo, but we do actually have an update on the future of Joao Felix, of course, staying in the left wing department. Now, Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Atletico Madrid currently still value Joao Felix at 60 million euros. When I can get Nico Williams for 50, they're asking for 60 for Joao Felix. You're having a laugh. Now, also, there are reports coming in from Candecer from the Atletico Madrid media saying that at Atletico Madrid, it is increasingly clear that Barcelona does not want Joao Felix, and David Bernabeu and Ferran Torres in Sport confirmed this, saying that there are many doubts regarding the continuity of Joao Felix at the club next season. Look, Joao Felix has done better than I expected when he signed in August. If you guys don't remember, back in August, I was very, very much against the signing of Joao Felix. He has done better than I expected. I think overall, for the duration of the season, he hasn't done great. Yes, he's had moments here and there. Yes, to be fair, on paper, his stats aren't too bad. He's very, very close to double digits in both goals and assists. And for himself personally, this is one of his best seasons. I still don't think he's done enough. But I want to remind you guys about the report I told you in the last video from Luis Rojo from Marca. He said that if Barcelona can keep Joao Felix for cheap, they'll do it. If they cannot, they won't. And keep your eyes on what happens in the left wing department, because if we can't get Nico Williams, we can't get Dani Olmo, we're gonna have to try and keep Joao Felix, and that is the reality of the situation. So again, keep your eyes on that. I think, barring any, again, with Joao Felix, it's all about the agreement with Atletico Madrid, and it has to be favorable. We gave them Antoine Griezmann for dirt cheap, and I expect the same in return. Another low with a buy option. Buy him with a total package for no more than 30 million euros. Because again, if they want 60 for him, I'd rather give Athletic Club 50 million up front for Nico Williams. I mean, that's an absolute no-brainer whatsoever. So keep your eyes on the future of Joao Felix. I think right now, based on pure ability and pure, availability in the squad, the club don't want him. But on availability, based on the transfer market, he might have a little bit of hope. Let's discuss the players that have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past 24 to 48 hours. First, we're going to be discussing the news around Eric Garcia, which I think has been the second biggest talking point around after Vitor Roque on social media around the Barcelona fan base. I'll give you guys my opinion, my analysis on the situation. Now, firstly, Fabrizio Romano has come out saying that Girona will push again soon to try their best to keep Eric Garcia for next season, and this was confirmed by the manager Michel. He was speaking in the media saying that I am very clear that I want Eric Garcia and the return of Oya Romeu this summer. Again, it's on a silver plate here for Barcelona, but the issue is that with Eric Garcia, Xavi is still a big fan. Now, Fran Martinez from Mundo Deportivo has come out saying that Xavi wants Eric Garcia in the squad next season. He was against his exit for this season as well. He has been performing at a high level in Girona and can also play at right back as well. Julian Araujo and Alex Valle will also be part of the preseason, and then based on their performances and the market, their futures will be determined. Here is the thing. Xavi wanted Bernardo Silva. Xavi wanted Zubamendi last summer. There are so many players that Xavi has wanted, but in the end, it has not worked out. And I think the same thing could happen with Eric Garcia. I think Eric Garcia's situation depends more so on the developments of the squad than Xavi's opinion. Of course, Xavi's opinion will have a lot of effect. Look, Eric Garcia is not going to be a starter. He's not going to be second choice. He might be third or fourth choice. Has he had a good season at Girona? Yes. Would I want to keep Eric Garcia? No. Personally, I think, we have enough in the squad, and I would cash out on him, try to get 15, 20 million euros as a package from Girona. But Xavi wanting Eric Garcia for me is not a big deal. Again, you have Inigo, who's going to be leaving, so you're going to have a center back who's coming in. I personally would bet on McAlfe because for me, you have to have a left-footed center back in the squad, and Eric Garcia is right-footed. Now, Eric Garcia being an option at right back for me is nothing short of an absolute disgrace. This man is shite at right back on the Barcelona level. Of course, defensively in the Girona system, he can put in a shift with there being no pressure, but at Barcelona, he ain't gonna cut it. Of course, he can play at right back, he can play in the pivot. I think Eric Garcia's future depends a lot on Inigo Martinez, McAlfe, and also Andreas Christensen. I think Christensen is an upgrade and better than Eric Garcia and can play the center back position and pivot better than Eric Garcia. I think Xavi, Spanish connection, you could say there's a bias, sure, but Xavi is the manager and he has the right to decide who he wants to keep and who he wants to leave. That for me is fine. But passing up on Eric Garcia when there are suitors for him, he also has 2 years left on his contract. So this summer is prime time to sell him. I think a decision needs to be made, but I do think that circumstances around the defense will play a big impact. So let's say we get a big offer for Julian Araujo, we might end up shipping him. Inigo Martinez's future, you never know. Maybe we sell Eric Garcia, maybe Araujo does not renew and we have to sell him to Bayern Munich. Then there could be somewhat of an opening for Eric Garcia. I think that's the only way he stays. I think right now with the current system, with the current players we have, I think keeping Eric Garcia is ludicrous. But if things happen, if player sales, shock moves, decision making, situations do change, there might be a pathway for Eric Garcia, especially with him having the backing of Xavi. So we'll wait and see. I wouldn't dwell on it too much. If we keep him, I doubt we keep. I think if we keep him with the current situation that we do have, we have Christensen, McAlfe, Inigo, Araujo, Koundé, Kubarsi as well. That is nothing short of a disgrace. I've also seen a lot of people mention that, Eric Garcia, when he left, that kind of opened the door up for Kubarsi. What opened the door for Kubarsi was our 5 injuries at center back. That is what opened the door for Kubarsi, not the departure of Eric Garcia. Is Kubarsi better? I would say so, yes, especially right now for Barcelona as a center back. But Eric Garcia had this hype, as well with Man City. Even his first few weeks at Barcelona, again, he was starting with Gerard Piqué for the entire Koeman season. People forget that as well. So they all have their moments, and it's about who takes those moments. So we'll wait and see with Eric Garcia. I think again, if he stays with the current situation, that is nothing short of a disgrace, and I completely disagree with it. But if movement happens in the defense and there's an opening for him to continue, and Xavi wants him, he might end up staying. Now, without a shadow of a doubt, the biggest, reports and news and drama around Barcelona over the past few days, let alone the past 24 to 48 hours, has been the situation of Vitor Roque. There has been so much news coming out about him, so what I'm going to do is read through all the news, and then we'll give you guys my opinion and my analysis as well. I'll drop my opinions here and there based on these reports as well, so let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. So firstly, Roberto from Mundo Deportivo has come out saying that Vitor Roque does not understand the situation at Barcelona. The situation he is living in Barcelona is affecting him enormously, and those close to him admit that the player is not having a good time at all. He looks sad, and even at home, he's not be able to disconnect from his situation, from the team, even to the point of reaching tears. In addition, from the player's close circle, they maintain that Xavi does not talk to him, that the communication does not exist, and this is why the player will have to be able to contribute to what the coach is asking from him. Also, the coaching staff do not agree with Vitor Roque's environment, as they maintain the individual videos that was made to show him what they expect from him, and that he is the one of the players whom the coaches corrects and encourages the most during training sessions. So again, Vitor Roque's the issue with Vitor Roque is that he's not adapting well enough for the Barcelona standards, according to the coaching staff. Now, his agent Andre Cury has spoken to Raccoon and has dropped the absolute fattest interview I have ever seen. He's gave us some great insights. Personally, for me, I'm not a fan of agents coming out and, giving their perspective and, attacking the manager and the club and institution. I don't mind them giving updates. Oh, the player's not happy. The player's happy. Yes, we want to leave. Yes, we want a loan. I don't mind that. But going to the nitty-gritty and, attacking the manager, I'm not a big fan of. But anyways, he's done it. Big quotes, and let's get right into it. So, Andre Cury, the agent of Vitor Roque, has come out saying that everyone thinks that Vitor Roque should have more minutes, and no one understands why the coaches does not give it to him. Xavi has never spoken to the player. I don't understand the situation, and I think it's not good for anyone involved. I've told the boy that what he needs to do is work even harder and wait for his chance, but also seeing games where he could be given minutes and prominence to avoid this unpleasant situation. Cury compares in the situation Vinicius with Roque as well. Look what happened with Vinicius at Real Madrid. It took him 2.5 years to start playing. Here in 2 months, there's already chaos and people want to kill instead of helping. It's something I don't understand. That is an absolutely fantastic point. Now, in regards to his first paragraph, where again he has to work harder and harder, I do agree with that. But seeing other players give him minutes ahead of him, you're in a Clasico. Who are you gonna bring on? An 18-year-old who just come in from Brazil, or someone who's experienced like Ferran Torres, who's been playing in Spain for basically all his life? Stuff like that. I think I'll talk about it later, but there's logical answers to these inquiries. Now, Cury on Roque said that Vitor Roque is a player who is very strong mentally. A lot of people talk nonsense, giving incorrect figures about the operation, and all this works against him. On his future, I've already spoken with Deco. The kid has a contract with Barcelona, and we chose Barcelona over other options where we could have earned twice as much money. I'm certain that Vitor Roque will be a great player, but if Barcelona, the club, or the coach does not allow it, I don't know what happens internally, and we will look for another path. We do not want a loan. If the club decides he cannot stay, he will be sold. There are many teams interested in Vitor Roque. If the club does not even give space to Vitor Roque, we'll have to look for a solution. Either he stays or he's transferred. No loan will be considered. Going to another team that does not even own him is very risky in the boy's career. The best thing would be to stay at Barcelona, but if he cannot stay, we will work towards a transfer. From Vitor Roque's side, from the player agent side, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I think that's honestly the correct mindset and what's best for all parties, including the player and the club. No issues there. Cury on Xavi's management of Vitor Roque. In my opinion, Xavi should have given him more minutes, a bit like he does with Fermin Lopez, Pau Cubarsí, and Lamine Yamal. Victor has not been given the opportunity, and I can't explain why. It's not like Barcelona is having a great season either. The team concedes a lot of goals and doesn't help. With 300 minutes, he has scored 2 goals, and I would say he is the team's top scorer if you look at the average minutes played. Well, in that respect, obviously. And finally, it's about to say that Xavi explained that Vitor Roque needs to gain confidence, and I tell him the boss, who is him, should give him the confidence. He should be helping the team by be given more minutes, not the bad ones. It could be good ones if you play the full match of the starting squad and not with teams made for a single match. It's the coach who needs to instill confidence in an important asset of the club. He's spitting straight facts. I have no problem with this whatsoever. I don't really like the quote here where he says that, Xavi should give him more minutes. He's giving minutes to Cubarsí, Fermin, and Lamine Yamal. I don't like that. I think their situations, of course, are much, much different. But again, the main thing here, there's going to be no loan. Either Vitor Roque stays at Barcelona or he will be sold this summer according to his agent. Now, following the interview, the morning after, Alex Pentel from Relevo came out saying that not playing in El Clasico was painful for Vitor Roque. Xavi withdrew Lewandowski but preferred to use Ferran Torres as a false 9 instead of bringing him on. This also did not please several board members of the club's sporting sector as well. Earlier in the season, in the Copa del Rey versus Athletic Club, Xavi brought on Marc Guille to replace Lewandowski. In the last match against Girona too, it was Ferran Torres who replaced Lewandowski. Xavi's, second place is on the line here. Yes, Vitor Roque is a brilliant talent, but you want guarantees. Who's going to perform better in a Clasico where Ferran Torres has already scored twice at the Bernabeu before in 2 different seasons? It's a logical change. I think Vitor Roque would have been a better sub. Yes, could he have a better impact? Sure. But Xavi picking Ferran Torres for me is not outrageous. I think that, again, I'll talk about it when I get to the end. Now, Marc have come out saying that from the club's offices, they said that yesterday's words from Andre Cury won't change anything on Vitor Roque's situation. The pressure won't cause Xavi to give him more minutes and his initial plans, nor for the player's future. If he feels that he can go on loan, then so be it. So the club is still kind of firm on him going on loan. Alex Pentel also came out saying that Deco is the one who insists on Vitor Roque's arrival in January. Xavi wanted a midfielder, and he believed that the number 9 position was well covered with Lewandowski, Ferran Torres, and Guille. I've seen so many people on Twitter and Instagram talk about this. People cannot read. People think that Xavi never wanted Vitor Roque. Look what it says. In January. And what happened in January? Vitor Roque came in immediately for the registration space of Pablo Gabe, which made sense at the time, and Xavi approved it because we could not get a midfielder. We had no money for Alex Garcia. Lo Celso didn't want to push for a move from Tottenham. Who else was there? Of course, if we could have signed a midfielder and we brought in Vitor Roque ahead of that, that is terrible decision making from Deco. But if you can bring in Vitor Roque or no one, you're gonna bring in Vitor Roque. It's just People just don't understand the situation whatsoever. Now, finally, after all this, Mateo Morito has come out saying there is a lot of teams that are inquiring about Vitor Roque for a loan deal, both in Spain and abroad. His agent under Cury has a very good relationship with Manchester United and a few other English clubs as well. Barcelona do not want to sell him as they have just signed him and he is signed for the future. For Barcelona, a loan deal could be the best, but Cury said that that's not going to be happening whatsoever. There is a lot more to talk about in his future down the line and further meetings. So here it is. With Vitor Roque, no decision has been made. Barcelona are thinking about a loan, and Vitor Roque's entourage have reacted to that, saying that, look, we do not want a loan. We're either going to stay or we're going to leave. First of all, if we sell Vitor Roque, bloody hell, we're probably going to make some money, if not break even. Bish, bash, bosh. I also want to give everyone a reminder that yet to this day, on May the 6th, 2024, Barcelona are yet to pay a single euro for Vitor Roque, because the first payment is going to be coming in July for 5 million euros. So to this day, people say, oh, 40 million, terrible investment, terrible on Laporta, blah, blah, blah. Not a penny has been spent on him yet. And for those of you comparing this operation and comparing Laporta to Bartomeu, have some shame. People need to realize that Vitor Roque has come in early. In the summer, we needed a striker. Again, Marc is nowhere to be seen. In the summer, we go and pick up one of the brightest talents in Brazil in a fantastic operation. 30 million fixed, 30 million in variables, and those variables are very, very difficult to achieve. And if they are achieved, we will get on our knees and pay it without issue. The club needed a striker because Lewandowski is 34 years old. Everyone in the summer agreed with the signing of Vitor Roque. The fans, the board, Xavi, everyone, and the operation was done that he was supposed to be joining this summer. What happens? Xavi tears his ACL. We cannot find a midfielder in January to replace him. Oh, let's use our brains. Let's bring in Vitor Roque earlier. Bring him in 6 months. Let him integrate in the city. Find a house. Live. Settle. Culture. Style of play. Know his teammates. Learn the language a bit. Happy days. Again, we were all, listen, me included. In November, I'm thinking, bloody hell, Vitor Roque is coming in. He could be mentioned Lewandowski because Lewandowski was shite. Absolutely shite. But what happens in January? Lewandowski flips the switch, starts playing well, and Vitor Roque is taking time. The boy is 18 years old, coming from the Brazil League, playing for Football Club Barcelona. And some of you are telling me that he should be starting week in, week out. My God, the nostalgic, you guys are just absolutely deluded. Wake up and smell the coffee. If Xavi thinks that he will not have an impact on the game, that is Xavi's prerogative, and that is his opinion based on what he sees in training week in, week out. Who knows? To be honest, I do watch a lot of the Barcelona training videos on YouTube. I barely see Vitor Roque in him. Is he missing chances? Is he not performing well? Is the pressure getting to him? I have no idea. Again, Vitor Roque's opportunity to put in his stamp on this Barcelona squad happened. It happened when he scored against Osasuna. He came off the bench against Alaves, and he scored. He was going to start the game. I think afterwards, who do we play next? I forget where Marc ended up starting the game because Lewandowski was suspended. That was Vitor Roque's time. A dodgy and incorrect red card killed his momentum. If that momentum happened, he would have grew, gained more confidence, played, scored, would have been a maybe decent option off the bench. The reality is that this is the progression of Vitor Roque. It needs time, and if he can just survive and get on the plane to America, I think he'll prove everyone wrong. I have no doubt that Deco, Laporta, and Xavi trust the player. The talent is there. It's a player we needed as well. We have no striker. Marc only turned up against Athletic Club in September. No one heard about him. No one knew about him unless you're really deep in the club during the summer. This was a brilliant operation. Again, we'll wait and see what happens. Of course, the club end up selling him. The bloody hell, you can, of course, reflect. Depending on how much he sells for him, you can say he's a flop or not. If we loan him, again, you can evaluate it. But to this point, everything, I think, in my opinion, and based on what I've seen, and based on what the media is telling you, is going as planned. But what happens? You lose, and you want to get a story to sell papers. You just make up this random crap about Vitor Roque. It boggles my mind. People tell me, oh, why did he come on? Why didn't he start? Because during the time where Vitor Roque could have his opportunity, we are in a do or die situation. We're playing Atletico Madrid away. We're playing PSG. We're doing do or die games in the Champions League. We have El Clasico. There's no real opportunity for him. We never had, a cheeky game against Cadiz thrown in there. What we did, of course, and Vitor Roque ended up starting that game. We never had, a game against Granada at home to, kind of just, go through the motion. That opportunity never came. We were playing huge games week in, week out. And you have experienced players like Joao Felix, Rafinha, Ferran Torres that are the first names off the bench because they've been in those scenarios where you want to have an impact. You cannot chuck in an 18-year-old lad from Brazil out of nowhere like an Archeo when he's not even performing well in training according to the coaching staff to have an impact on those games. Again, people need to read the situation. Roque coming in January, I think, was a blessing. He came in because we could not bring in a midfielder. Of course, if we brought in Vitor Roque ahead of a midfielder, that is a different discussion. But that's not the reality. We tried to get Alex Garcia, couldn't get it done. We tried to, beg for Lo Celso, didn't happen. I think we tried another midfielder, couldn't happen. We had no FFP. You only had enough FFP to bring in Vitor Roque, and that's what we did. And I think, imagine we brought him in the summer, and all this stuff now is going to be happening in October. You're speeding up the process. So I think everything's going to be fine with Vitor Roque. I think this is all just hype. I think we're going to have this meeting with Vitor Roque, Andre Cury, Deco. They're going to talk. They're going to be fine. He'll be on the plane to America, and I think everything will be okay from that point. But again, we'll wait and see how things do develop in the Vitor Roque situation. But again, it looks like Barcelona is still on the hand of trying to loan him, where again, Vitor Roque's entourage have been adamant that he will either be a Barcelona player or he will be sold on a permanent basis. Now, from one striker situation to another, we also have a big update on Robert Lewandowski, where his future is also, I would say, a tad bit in question. Now, Fernando Polo from Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Robert Lewandowski's salary will increase to more than 30 million gross next season, which is a lot of money. I know, shite. In this context, the club is waiting to see what happens with his future. Lewandowski has said several times that he wants to stay at Barcelona and Barca respect him, but admit that an offer comes in, the club would not, oppose to his departure. Lewandowski's performances have shown a downward trend and will hardly improve after this. Now, I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I can't believe the club even gave him 30 million. Why did the club do that? Stupid planning. You bunch of morons. Look at where Barcelona were in the summer of 2022. We were rock bottom of a trophyless season. We were celebrating getting top 4. We were down that bad. We're trying to sign the best striker in the world on form during that summer. We could not give him... He was making like around 100,000 a week in his first season at Barcelona. You know how ridiculous that is? For Robert Lewandowski, the best striker in the world during that time on form, to come in from his 250,000 a week wages at Bayern Munich to 100,000 a week at Barcelona. And look at the money that he earned from us, from sponsorships, advertisements, shirt sales. He is still the top kit seller week in, week out, consecutively. That's why he was on lower wages, and that's why the club had his wages incrementally increased, because they think that personally the financial situation of the club will get healthier, which it has. And again, we can afford to pay Lewandowski these wages, but it's just not sensible. I've said this since October. The club have to kind of find an agreement to break up his wages into variables, so it's like it's not too heavy on FFP. He cannot go into next season on 30 million gross. That is outrageous. If he's performing at that level, you can say, this could be an argument. There could be some sort of case. He's not been consistent. Of course, 2024 Lewandowski has been great, but from September until December, he was absolutely woeful. Post World Cup until December, so December 2022 to December 2023, Lewandowski was shite. Absolutely shite. Yeah, he had his moments where he got some goals here and there, but bloody hell, overall play was shite. And this situation, I think, is more delicate and more difficult and more of a concern than the future of Vitor Roque, in my opinion. You could not have 35-year-old Lewandowski on 30 million gross next season. That is absolutely outrageous, and we'll wait and see how the club do resolve this situation, whether it's going to be a sale, salary reduction, breakup of his salary, whatever the case may be. But what's clear is that Barcelona are open to anything in regards to his future, but Lewandowski is adamant that he wants to stay at Barcelona. Now, along with Lewandowski, another Barcelona forward who the club are open to selling if the right offer comes in is Ferran Torres. David Bernabeu and Franco Russian Sport came out saying that Barcelona will be open to hearing offers for Ferran Torres this summer. Again, if the offer comes in, we'll wait and see. Again, I think everyone theoretically at Barcelona has a price. Probably except for, like they mentioned here, the only attacker that Barcelona's fully closed-minded in hearing offers for is Lamine Yamal. I think Lamine Yamal, Cubarsí, Xavi are like probably the top 3 that I'd say that no matter what bid comes in, the club will not accept. But I think everyone has a price. I think even Pedri has a price, especially with having 2 years left on his deal. But I think the club, of course, will push to keep him. Again, we'll wait and see. I think Sevilla could be interested, especially with Monchi as their sporting director and Unai Emery being a big fan of Ferran Torres. Apart from that, I don't really think there's even suitors for Ferran Torres for a price that Barcelona want to sell him for. I'd look for around 30 million for Ferran Torres. I think this season he's done fairly well, but again, injuries have actually absolutely killed him. Like they have killed a lot of Barcelona players this season. So we'll wait and see how things turn out. But again, Barcelona open to selling Ferran Torres this summer, but of course for a good price. Let's now discuss some contract renewal updates around the first team at Barcelona. We have 3 big updates. Firstly, on Frenkie de Jong, of course, we talked about earlier on in the video that Xavi would be open to selling Frenkie de Jong if it means that Bernal Silva will be signed. Now, Moses Malone from ESPN has come out saying that Frenkie de Jong only wants to stay at Barcelona, and the coaching staff would like to see that too. The player is very happy with his partner in the city and has no intentions of leaving. No problem. Sign the thing. Again, if he renews, Xavi will be happy, Frenkie will be happy. As a fan personally, I would be happy. If he does not renew, you gotta ship him off. And if that means, shipping him off and then bringing in Bernal Silva, that's a different topic. But Frankie's happy, Xavi's happy, the club's happy. Renew your contract. It is as simple as that. I know a lot of people are really, Frankie out. Oh, he can't hold. He holds on the ball too much in the midfield. Look, Frenkie de Jong is a generational talent. He's a world-class midfielder, and he's playing in a midfield where there's no pivot, there's no continuity in the midfield whatsoever, and he's had no continuity as well. He's sprained his ankle 3 freaking times this season. He's had a downward season, but I think honestly in big moments he's come to it, and I think he's been one of the bright lights this season. When the team was playing well, of course, when the team's playing crap, he kind of drops off as well. But we'll see. He renews. He doesn't renew. I'm at a point now with Frenkie where I was very adamant no matter what not to sell him. I don't care if he's crap enough because it's the player, the profile is just fantastic. But now I'm like, okay, if he doesn't want to stay, bin him. Absolutely bin him. But we'll wait and see. Next update staying in the midfield is on Pedri. Fabrizio Romano has come out saying the topic of Pedri's new contract is a priority for Barcelona. Talks will take place in the next few weeks and months after Barca's renewal is agreed upon. The player is super committed and very happy at the club. Again, I've said it a lot on the channel, I'll say it again, with Pedri's injury situation, I really hope the club do not offer him more money. I'd give him maybe the same wages, maybe even a bit of a downgrade, because he cannot stay fit to save his freaking life. That's my opinion. The club probably will give him more money because he's one of the faces of the club. Look at all the banners, look at all the advertisements. He's on the face of absolutely everything, so maybe a slight increase from the club's point of view, but I really don't hope we give him like a bumper, extraordinary, sensational contract, because I honestly don't think Pedri deserves it. I don't think he's done enough, especially consistently with his injuries. I mean, man comes back from an injury for 1 month, he's absolutely beautiful, out for 3 months. Comes back for 2 weeks, beautiful, out for 1 month. It's just not sustainable whatsoever. But we'll wait and see. I have no problem with keeping Pedri, but of course I think the club had to set the right conditions for him to continue. And the final contract renewal update is the big one, Sergi Roberto, which again a lot of people are just really against. Now, Sport have come out saying that Barcelona will renew Roberto's contract despite his mistakes in the other day against Girona, because he's given the team a guarantee and his presence is important in the locker room. Fernando Porto from Deportivo also came out saying that Barcelona are offering Roberto a contract renewal for 1 year, but his agent would like to get a renewal for a longer period, even if it's something like an optional year, depending on his performances. The positions are closer, and in theory, the agreement should be closed this week, but we'll have to see if it happens so quickly and what timing the club closes the announcement. Again, there's no chance the club will announce it before the end of the season, especially with the current form and what's been happening recently. The debate is, oh, we're keeping Roberto, our mediocrity is shite, blah, 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 blah. Roberto, this season, overall, from August until today, he hasn't been bad for his past 2 seasons. Again, the 2 worst performances individually this season were Sergi Roberto at right back against the club in January and against Villarreal in August. In the midfield, Roberto has been alright this season. The goals against Almeria, the goals against Getafe, the performance against Atletico Madrid at the Metropolitano Stadium, the performance against PSG in Paris, the performance against Napoli at home. He's put in a shift this season, and Xavi's been very adamant that if he's been fit, he would have a more prominent role. Again, it's not like Xavi starts when we have a fully fit midfield 3 and even a backup on the bench. He's not the first name on the team sheet whatsoever. Look at his performance. Look at his stance in the Clásico. Xavi brought on Fermin Lopez ahead of him, made other midfield rotation ahead of him as well. Xavi knows how to use Roberto. Again, he's on absolute peanuts. Look, I would rather Roberto leave. I've said this a million times. I think, he should have left last season with Busi, Jordi, and Jerry. I think that was his time to go as well. But keeping him on peanuts, low contract, 1-year deal, he's not going to play. He's just there for, vibes and morale and experience and, language speaking and, all this stuff. It doesn't really bother me. He is 5th choice, 6th choice midfielder. And when we have so many injuries like we do have this season, having Roberto in the midfield isn't the end of the world. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of you guys hate it. Oh, we got to move on. Mediocrity, blah, blah, blah. He's been shite. I get it. There is, of course, a bit of an agenda against him because he's been very, very poor the past few seasons, which I totally understand. I totally agree with it as well. I think this season, he's played well. Look at those player ratings I gave to Roberto in those big games where he has played, and look what everyone been saying online as well. Oh, Roberto, not too bad. Great, good performance from him. Credit to him, blah, blah, blah. One mistake changes everything, and I understand that completely. But we'll wait and see with Roberto. I think he'll definitely renew. He's going to renew anyways without Xavi staying, but with Xavi staying, it's basically guaranteed. Now, the next contract renewal update we do have is not on the first team, but we do have updates on the La Masia renewals on the top talents in Gem in the academy. We have first update is on Marc Bernal coming in from Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo. He's come out saying the negotiations for the contract renewal of Marc Bernal are progressing well. His current contract ends in 2026 and has a €6 million release clause. The club wants to add 1 more year and 2 more optional. Like the other youth players, it is no surprise that teams from England, Germany, and Italy have been asking about the situation and are trying to tempt him. Bernal, however, only thinks about Barcelona. The club says he's very excited to continue and is not considering leaving. Barca considered him a midfielder for the future and an essential piece of the new generation of homegrown players. Xavi's already called him up to the training on some occasions and speaks highly of him. The coaching assistants have followed him regularly and they have sent very positive reports on him. Again, the plan right now is to have Marc Bernal on that plane to America for preseason. I think renewing him is very important, and again, he's going to be the third choice pivot next season alongside Guido Rodriguez and whoever being in as the top signing, maybe behind Christensen as well, or Garcia, depending on who stays out of them two and all that. But definitely a top talent, and next season hopefully he'll have a more prominent role in Barca Athletic. Next renewal is on the third choice goalkeeper at the club, Andre Astralaga. This is coming in from Tony Juan Marti. He's come out saying that Barcelona are working on the contract renewal of Astralaga, which ends in 2025. It is not closed yet, but there is optimism. If Barca Athletic get promoted to the second division, he would continue there. And if they fail in the third division, then he could be loaned out to a higher division side. Barcelona are satisfied with the 24-year-old Basque goalkeeper and value him positively. So again, whatever it has with him, to be honest, doesn't really faze me at all. I mean, we'll wait and see. We've heard this kind of story with Arnaud Tenez as well. Look where he's ended up. So we'll wait and see with Astralaga. I don't think I think he played in the friendly against Dallas for a bit, and that's the only time I've really seen him, if I'm being completely honest, so we'll wait and see on that. But we also have some updates on the future of some of the younger talents as well. First up is Guille Fernandez. Sport have come out saying that Guille Fernandez is exceeding expectations and stands out for his physicality and does not correspond to his age of just 15 years old. He's not built like a typical La Masia midfielder. He's a very creative player too. Recently, he's become the youngest player ever to debut for Barca Athletic, surpassing Lamine Yamal, and yesterday he started the game. Right now, everything indicates that he will have an important role and key stage of the season. Rafa Marquez emphasizes on the confidence with which the player plays on and his exceptional quality. Guille has also trained with the first team on a few occasions. This kid is ringing alarm bells like no tomorrow at Barcelona. He is an absolute top talent, and if you know what, we don't sign an interior this summer, he could be getting opportunities in the first team next season. He is that good. He's been that sensational for not only the cadet side but also the juvenile side, and even now Barca Athletic side at the age of just 15. Bloody hell. If we secure second place before the last game of the season, maybe the last 2 games of the season, whatever the case may be, we could see some minutes from him, honestly. But we have too much at stake right now, so I doubt we will. But keep your eyes on him. Hopefully, I think he will be on that plane to America. And boy, oh boy, and especially with players going to be out for the internationals, because there's going to be Euros, Copa America, Olympics, so we will have a thin squad for the American tour. He's definitely going to be one to watch out for on that plane. And the final update we do have is on the future of Pau Victor. Tony Juan Martin has come out saying that AZ Alkmaar are very interested in Pau Victor, who is currently on loan from Girona. Other Eredivisie teams such as Feyenoord and Ajax have also shown interest in the striker. The club has to decide whether or not to trigger his €3 million buy option and then sell him at a higher fee profit, or secure a payment percent of any future sale. In Spain, several clubs are also interested in acquiring the forward, though they have less financial muscle. It would be a massive risk for Barcelona to spend $3 million on him and then let him go for free with a percent of a future sale. But look what happened for Ferran Torres. We sold him to Club Bruges. He's still there. Hasn't really, done too much. And we got some money from Ferran Torres. That was the most important thing. I think you buy him for $3 million, sell him on for $7 million, have a percent of some future sale in there. Happy days for everyone. I think if Barcelona do end up buying him, they're definitely going to turn a profit. They're not going to keep him whatsoever. There's no plan to have him in the first team. Again, you already have Marc, you have Vitor Roque, Lewandowski. You have Gasto as well, who I believe I talked about in the last video. So he's got no chance. Maybe in the future he might explode in La Liga or another team, and we need a striker maybe then. But I think for right now, for the interim pathway, very unlikely. Again, the club will look to try and make a profit on him this summer. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss before I end off this video is give you guys a massive update in regards to the contract renewal with Nike, the shirt supplier for Barcelona for the foreseeable future. Now, Memorabilia on Twitter, who of course is the #1 source around, shirt decisions, shirt leaks as well, everything like that. He's come out saying a historic deal is set to be signed between Barcelona and Nike. 120 million euro fix plus 70 million in variables and 100 million euro sign-on bonus is very close. The deal will be around 190 million euros per year, and this will be the most attractive deal on the market. An official announcement is coming soon. I've seen some motherfuckers on Twitter comparing Joan Laporta to Bartomeu. Alec, have some shame. Go look at my videos 4 months ago where Nike were saying, "Oh, we're gonna sue you. Oh, here's 80 million offer to renew your contract and maybe like 20 million sign-on bonus." This man has manipulated and finessed Nike beyond belief. He has handled the situation to absolute pure perfection. No other human being on this earth would have gotten this deal for Barcelona. I can guarantee you that. Put respect on his name, credit where it's due, and that 100 million euro bonus is gonna look sexy to bring us back to the 1-1 rule as well in La Liga. This is nothing short of an absolute pure Joan Laporta masterclass. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and of course leave me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. The main thing I want first, of course, is your thoughts on signings. Who do you think we'll bring in for the pivot? Who would you like to bring in for the interior? Would you bring in Bernardo Silva, Alex Garcia, Xavi Simons? Would you maybe favor Dani Olmo for that position? Your thoughts on the left wing as well. Would you go for Nico? Try and keep Joao Felix? Thirdly, your thoughts. I really want to know on the future of Lewandowski. What would you do? Sell him, reduce his wages, try and break up his wages based on variables. And finally, your thoughts on the whole entire situation of Vitor Roque. Where do you currently stand? Who do you blame for the situation as well? I think it's going well, poorly, could be better. And how do you see his future at Barcelona as well? And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care and Forza Barca.